today's video, we're going to talk about oregano and herbs in general, how we can avoid fungus problems and see them thrive. I'm Michelle Visser, author, podcast host of the Simple Doesn't Mean Easy podcast, and I've been writing over at soullyrested.com for a decade now about real food, preserving that real food, and simple living. By the way, check out the amazing discount code in the description on Dehydrating Academy. It's an exciting new launch of a masterclass that will have you a master at dehydrating. Skip any of the problems and the wasted food and the wasted time and the learning curve and just dive right in. Don't miss that amazing discount. Okay, so one thing I love dehydrating are all the herbs that I grow. And this year we had a good amount of rain, and I really had to stay on top of a fungus problem that I noticed early on. I kept the pots thinned out. I would do clippings probably every other week. I would be clipping a lot and dehydrating it, and that kept the airflow through the pots. It also took out the fungus things. I would always make sure I removed any spotted leaves or yellow leaves, any of the signs of fungus, and it really worked wonderfully. That and one other thing, I actually have it sitting right here. I wanted to tell you about this. This is not a sponsored video in any way, shape, or form. I just am so impressed with this. It's the first year I've used it. I've avoided using any kind of fertilizer because there's just so many issues and problems with it. It's really hard to find an organic one. And it also takes years sometimes for those pellets of fertilizer to really make an impact on your plant. This was instant. Within days of applying it, I would see new growth. My garden has thrived, and I did use it on my containers of all my herbs as well. So I wanted to make sure I told you about it. Because it's not a sponsored ad in any way, I'm gonna leave it at that. But if you wanna know more, I will put a link and some more information in the description if you wanna check it out. It's really good stuff, guys. Highly, highly recommend. Okay, let me show you the oregano today. I have a container here and one up by the house. I'll show you that one as well. And you'll see that I have been keeping it clipped back a lot all summer long. I've gotten a whole quart full of dried oregano from it. There'll be more coming, and it's doing well. You'll see though that there is still, you can see it on this leaf, some signs of fungus. So it's been a battle all summer long. I'm not gonna lie, I've been staying on top of it, but it's been worth it. I've had such great production from these herbs. We have this small pot of oregano growing on our picnic table on the back deck. Honestly, I don't even come to this one to harvest from it. I do clip off to keep it fungus free, but I really just have this one here just because it's pretty. And here's the pot of oregano that is by the kitchen door in the backyard. Yeah, this stuff is so prolific, like mint. Mint's the same way. Look at that, growing its roots because this was laying on the dirt. And I've been clipping from this a ton, like I said, probably every other week. And still, there's just so much. It's doing great. And again, like the other one, you can see there are leaves with fungus on it that I'll sit here for a minute, and all the ones I see, I'll just remove. And you do want to toss those away, like literally in the garbage, because if you lay it on the ground, it could impact something that you're growing in that area next year. So I was doing some gardening earlier, and I was thinking how beautiful the oregano and the mint looked. And then I looked a little closer, and I realized because of all the rain we had last week, and because they're filling in their containers so abundantly, there isn't any breathing room, and fungus is starting to grow. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and I'm going to clip out the pieces that I see that have the fungus, and I'm also going to clip out some extra just to give more breathing room and openness to the containers that they're growing in to keep this from being a problem. And then what I can salvage and what I've taken out just to open things up, I'm going to dehydrate today. So it's actually raining. I'm going to go do this as quickly as I can, and then we'll get to dehydrating. So this piece has some of that fungus. The spots on there are the fungus. So any piece that I see with that on it, I'm going to cut out. And it could just be one or two leaves on it that have that. So the rest of what's on this stem, I'm going to dry. Also down at the bottom, you might be able to see here, if not here, the leaves at the bottom just aren't getting enough light. It's just too crowded in here. So I just need to get everything to have more air and more light. So this one, oh, one little spot of fungus. So this one's fine, but has a little bit. So once I've opened it up so that more air can get to the bottom, I'm also going to cut some shorter. And if I cut it right above the leaf, where the leaves form on the stem, so if I cut it right here, then I'm going to get two other stems coming out from there. So going to do that on a few of these to allow for more growth at the top. So I decided to wrap up the video standing in the same spot that I was back in June so you can see the change in the garden. Isn't it fun to see in just a matter of what, 8 weeks? Yeah, 8, maybe 10 weeks. The difference. Insane, right? But don't forget to check out that liquid fertilizer in the description because seriously, it's hard for us to grow corn. This is only the second time ever that we have successfully to maturity grown corn. We've tried all different varieties. Popcorn was the other variety that actually grew to maturity, but this one, I owe it all to the fertilizer. I'm not kidding. Delicious sweet corn in New England. It's hard to do. Also, make sure you check out the description for information about my Dehydrating Academy, and you can start growing all these productive herbs like we've been talking about in this video and drying them yourself and using them all year long. And I think that's everything I wanted to tell you. If you found this video useful or encouraging, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and say hi. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks guys, catch you in the next video.